Hello friends, I can see a lot of attendees here. We will just wait for 1 or 2 more minutes and then we will start the session.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I think it's already 11:01, so probably we can begin. Since the webinar is being recorded, so in case anyone joins after a few minutes, we can share the recorded portion with them so that they don't miss out on any information. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Poncho, and I'm the sales manager for Korea from Intera Systems. With me, I have Munish, who is the product expert, and he will be taking us through the product presentations as well as the product demo. Uh, we also have Jin with us from Namsan. So today we'll be covering the Baton family of products, namely the Baton, which some of you are already aware with, along with its uh, add-ons like Baton Media Player and BCC. Then we will be covering two of the new offerings from Intera Systems, Captions and LipSync. But before we jump into the product presentations and demos, let me give you a very high level overview of Intera Systems as a company and also an overview of all our solutions. So Intera Systems solutions, as you can see on the screen, they address various needs at every stage of the content workflow. It covers content preparation, content delivery, and also debugging. At the content preparation stage for VOD, that is video on demand content, we have Baton, which is our file-based automated QC tool. Now it can be used for checking the quality of assets for which it has exhaustive QC checks like baseband checks, format checks, audio, video quality checks, and dedicated ABR, adaptive bitrate checks to pinpoint issues that can cause problems with content delivery. Next, we have Orion and Orion OTT, which are the real-time monitoring solutions for content assurance of high-quality linear and OTT streams, both for live and VOD content. Now, both these solutions, Orion and Orion OTT, look at all aspects of streams, including ABR manifest, closed captions, ad insertions, and are fully supported for cloud environments as well. We have also made significant enhancements in these solutions in terms of scalability. So we will be covering these solutions in detail in the second webinar. I'm sure the details have been shared with you regarding that also. Next, in the Orion family is the Orion Central Manager, so which is called OCM, that provides a bird's eye view of the entire Orion deployment for an organization. It aggregates data from all the Orion and Orion OTT probes and present it in a stage-wise manner. So this is important, from a root cause analysis perspective, as the problems appearing at the end device level might have originated earlier in the workflow. So since you have a complete view, identifying and isolating the fault becomes easier with Orion Central Manager. Now, next we have the new family of products which are based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. In these three solutions, first is LipSync, which covers the audio video sync errors. Let's say we have an active speaker on screen, but the audio when the speaker is speaking is either leading or lagging the speaker. So LipSync will be able to detect these kind of out of sync issues. Then we have Captions, which automate the process of handling captions, which is like generation of captions from transcripts, then checking those captions for quality issues, reviewing them, correcting them. So all these things can be done in an automated fashion using Captions. Then finally, we have Vino, which is the third offering in our ML and AI suite. Now, it is an advanced platform for content classification. What I mean by content classification is that it can automatically identify pieces of content which have, let's say, strong language, explicit content, violence, things like these. It can also identify celebrity faces and brand logos. So it can help you with content classification, and then later on you can pass on the content with the reports for, let's say, editing and further processing. In the debugging section, we have Vega, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. Now it's an in-depth tool for debugging. So it can go basically to the pixel level and help you debug your content. And let's say if you're facing any issues, the problems can be identified with the help of Vega. It supports all the popular industry formats. On the video side, it supports AV1, HEVC, H.264, VP9. On the audio side, it supports AAC, AC3, EAC3, and other popular formats. And it also has debugging capabilities for the ABR formats like HLS, MPEG-Dash. So this is a brief overview of our solutions. Again, I would like to reiterate that these solutions are all cloud enabled. And since video quality is very crucial these days to monetize content, it, according to us, is a big differentiator to drive customer satisfaction and retention. So that is why in all our products, we have features that help you address these quality related issues and improve your productivity and efficiency. Now, I would like to hand it over to Munish for the product PPTs and demos. During these presentations, if you have any questions, please post them through the Q&A option, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. And we'll take them, as we finish each section, that is Baton, Caption, and LipSync. So Munish, over to you.
Yep, thank you, Dipanshu. So good morning, very warm welcome to the webinar. My name is Munish, and most of you have already, you guys know me or have worked with me in past. For others, I work with Intera Systems as application engineering team, and I take care of the customers in parts of APAC, and this includes Korea as well. As Dipanshu said, today's session will be focused on Baton family of products, and this will include Baton for QC, Baton Media Player, the reviewing tool, and Baton Content Corrector. Also, I would like to introduce Intera's two new offerings based on the artificial intelligence and the machine learning. These would solve real life problems for people like you, and they'll help you in your broadcasting or your post production fields. And these products are Baton LipSync and Baton Captions. To start with, let's have a look at the Baton Use Model. Some of you are already using Baton and might be familiar with this. Baton takes two inputs, and these inputs are the media file that can reside anywhere on the local, share, UNC paths, SAN, folder on the clouds like S3 or Google the FTP, and specialized servers. And second input is a test plan. Test plan is a set of all the checks that Baton offers and allows users to enable or disable checks as per their requirement. Also, users can set their thresholds for each and every check over there. The checks it performs are broadly categorized as quality check, like black frames, freeze frames, video dropout, audio silence, audio loudness. Basically, the issues that you see or hear in your media files. Next is the regulatory compliance. As in loudness compliances like EBU, RIB, ITU, or flashiness in Europe. So all such compliances are required to ensure that your media files are safe and
Uh, Okay, I think Muni, there's some problem with the connection. Munish, are you there? So I think Munish, due to some technical issue, has been logged out. So we'll just give us half a minute. I think he'll log in back into the system and we'll continue. Sorry about this. Okay, so I think Gaurav is there, and I think Gaurav, you have the PPT, right? So maybe you can continue while Munish is getting back onto the system.
Hello. Yeah, hi, this is Gaurav. Since there is a connection problem with Munish, so I will be taking up the presentation from here. So as we were saying that Baton takes two input. So one is the file itself and another is the test plan. So with test plan, we can perform various quality checks like freeze frames, black frames, blockiness, pixelization, etc., etc. Then we can also check the regulatory compliance, like whether the file is as per the standards. Is it as per like MXF standards or transport stream standards? Their clearly parameters are intact or not. Then we can look for the conformance checks, under where we can we can look for the flashiness or ITU loudness, etc., etc. And last but not least is the encoding parameters, that the file that we are encoding is having all the encoding parameters intact, as in the file is if we are processing high definition file, it should be the resolution should be 1920 cross 1080. If we are working with 25 fps or 23 fps or whatever, so all the encoding parameters should be intact. So once all these checking performs or happens, Baton generates a report in form of PDF report, XML report, XLS report, and DVR reports. We can use these XML reports to integrate with other solutions also. So we can easily pass these XMLs to provide the input to your MAM or to any NMS systems. Baton also generates alerts in form of TCP, UDP, HTTP, and email alerts. So therein you can have your email alert saying that so and so file got failed with the PDF report giving you all the detailed information. Now, Baton can work in a standalone environment or can be integrated with other tools using APIs. So Baton has a rich full APIs. These APIs are available in XML RPC, REST-based, and SOAP-based APIs. Now, let's say you do not want any manual intervention while doing a QC. So with Baton Smart Folders, Baton gives you the option to design an automatic workflow wherein the product will automatically look for the files, any incoming files which are dropped into the folder. It will perform some pre-QC actions, smart pre-QC actions. You can filter down your files based on the resolution, based on the frame rate, or based on the type of file, and perform different type of QCs. So let's say if you are receiving standard definition files from some content provider versus high definition from some other content provider. So with the smart folders, you can bifurcate those standard definition files versus high definition files and run different check of QC on those files. So smart folder allows you to define a smart workflow wherein you can perform QC as per your requirement. Once the QC happens, the post QC actions will be performed on the basis of the results. So in the post QC actions, you may like to move the file, or you may like to copy the file to some other location. It can be a playout location or quarantine location. Then you may like to generate some email alerts based on the based whether they are passed or failed. Now, once the QC happens, now an operator may like to review the results, whether the reports or the results given by Baton are genuine or not. So there's a tool called Baton Media Player to review all the results. So we can visualize all the errors in Baton Media Player and see if the captured errors are genuine or not. So here, if I'm saying genuine, as in it may be a case that your workflow allows few errors, or errors as in that, let's say a file is having some black frames, but that black frames are due to night scenes, right? Or there is some artistic effect that has been introduced but the tool detected it as an error. So while reviewing the file through Baton Media Player, we can cut down such false positives. You can say them as false positives. And finally, we can move that file to layout folder. And let's say if the file is still having the errors, we can either correct it using Baton content corrector or can be sent to quarantine. So Baton content corrector is another add-on to Baton, which is used to correct loudness errors, RGB gamut errors, video signal level errors, etc. Then we have another tool called Baton Plus. It's more of an analytical tool where we can perform a high-level analytics, like how many files have been dropped into the workflow, how many files have been QC'd per day or per week, what is the throughput of the Baton, how much it is loaded, what type of common errors are coming in the file, which content provider is, which particular test plan we are seeing a lot of errors. So all these reports, all these analytics can be done through Baton Plus. So basically Baton Plus gives you a kind of top level MIS report with having a lot of beautiful bar graphs and pie charts. Munish, have you joined the call?
Yes, let me take over from here.
Yeah, you would like
thanks,
to take it.
Thanks, Gaurav, for the continuity. Yeah, so yes, that was the workflow. Now, over here, we have a snapshot of the audio video quality checks that Baton does support. So I'm very glad to tell you, like Baton already supports more than 70 plus audio video quality checks, which makes it very useful when it comes for the deep QC. I'll stop here for a second and please have a look over here and feel free to type in if you have any queries related to any of these checks, or you want to know more about any of these checks, or if any of your favorite check is missing over here. We will try to address your concerns in the Q&A hours. Okay. Next, here is a quick snapshot of the formats that are being supported by Baton. This list already covers all the popular, unpopular formats being used in the industry so far. Right from the basement formats to the latest ABR formats, including HLS, MPEG-, IMFs, the latest video encoding technologies like HEVC, H.265. It covers all of them. Apart from this, it does have wide support for all the closed captions and the subtitling formats. And not to forget, the image formats are also supported for doing the QC. Now, before we jump on to the new features that we have in the latest release, let's have a quick look at the user interface of Baton, especially for those who are looking at Baton for the first time. So Baton has a web-based user interface, and it can be accessed from any client machine which is connected to your server. You don't have to go to your server room every time to access the UI. You can have multiple users with different roles and responsibilities. Now this task page, this is the landing page and is very frequently accessed by all the QC operators. It gives us an overall view of our QC task. Like here you have the file names that have been QC'd or that are in the QC queue against a test plan name. We have the priority. There are 5 levels of priorities that can be used while scheduling a job. The scheduling time, the time to complete, there is a progress bar, and other relevant informations like task source, whether the manual scheduling was done or the APIs were used or someone used the smart folder. The important column over here is the result. Intera uses the same color codes in all its products. Like if you see a red flag, it means there are errors. If you see anything in orange or yellow, that means there are some minor warnings. And if you see green, it means the file is good to go. To view the report, you can simply click here on the result and it opens the report in a separate tab. Here, this is your HTML report. You have the complete hierarchy on the left panel. You can see my file is MP4. It has MPEG-2 video, AAC audio, and SRT sidecar subtitles. Now, the color here, red color, it shows that there are problems in all of these nodes. What are those problems? Let's see on the right panel under Errors tab. Here we have error node for all of them. Let's go to the video node first. So first error, it says it's a video quality. I have a smaller thumbnail over here. It gives me a synopsis and a detailed description. Next column talks about the duration for which this error persists, the start time code and the end time code. Similarly, I have a long list over here and we can go through it. If we click on any of the error, it shows me the timeline view and marks the erroneous thumbnail and the time code with the red. So this is the point where this problem has started. Detailed description over here, it says average of 1.4% pixels were out of GAMU and it started from this time code. We have time code available in multiple formats, whether it is in the milliseconds or the SMPTE time code with the frame number or the frame index. We also show the EBU code for your errors. You can navigate to next error by clicking over here. This is how you go through or you read your errors here. Now, these reports, these can also be exported as PDF, Excel, XML for integration, JSON again for integration. Now, these are the various formats of the reports which are available for the users use. So if you have to share these reports, you can simply download PDF or Excel. And if you have to do the integration with your MAM, DAM or third-party tools, use XML or the JSON report. Next button over here is for play with Baton Media Player. And if I click here, it will open this report in the Baton Media Player. This is a tool which can be used to debug your media files. Over here on the left panel, you see same list of errors as was present in the HTML report. In the center, you can see the video. This is the video panel for playing the erroneous portions. So when you click on any of the error over here, corresponding, this video panel, it will jump on to the time code and it will start playing those errors. Also, we have a error timeline here where you can see various errors in the timeline view, like where here you can see the dropout errors were there, freeze frame error occurred over here, and this timeline is available for your closed captions. There's a timeline for audio video as well, and there is a thumbnail view. So basically thumbnail view, it shows you all the erroneous thumbnails in the red and you can navigate through them. Okay, let's click on one of the error and see how does it play. So like I clicked on the black frame error, it jumped onto the erroneous portion and played that portion. Now clearly I can see this portion is black, and if I want to mark some comments for my operators or the editors, I can simply click here, start review, and add my comments. And these comments will be part of the Baton database. And on exporting a PDF report again, the PDF will have these comments placed there. This player, it has the ability to send the video output to a broadcast monitor as well. You can use any Aja or Blackmagic SDI cards for that. Moreover, there has been some recent enhancements done to the player, and now it is enabled to play your media files directly. So even if you don't send your files for the QC, it can be used to directly play back your media files. Now, after you have done your review from this interface, you have ignored your errors or mark your comments, then you can invoke Baton content corrector automatically to correct the errors, like we have shown in the demo already in the presentation. So I'll show you the user interface of a Baton content corrector and show you the errors that can be corrected with it. So these are the audio errors that can be automatically corrected with Baton content corrector. So like all loudness related issues. In video, it can correct video signal levels, RGB, photoecliptic, flashiness, and remove the black frames. Couple of metadata corrections can also be done. So these are the checks that can be corrected. Okay, I'll move back to the presentation. And quickly go through the new highlights that we have in the product. So over here, if you see on a high level, we have added support for various audio video quality checks. And you can see the list over here. Then lot of new specifications have been added. This includes the SMPTE specs, the ARD, ZDF specs. These are the compliance checks that have been added. Lot of focus is on the audio language detection. And now we already have 20 plus languages in our list that can be automatically detected with our language identification algorithm. As we said, we have added new formats in the list already, and these formats are like Dolby Vision, Apple ProRes for IMF packages, Panasonic P2 format, VP9 video, and others. And also EVU and the ARIF subtitles are supported now, and PNG with the alpha channels. In terms of Baton Media Player, like I said, now it is available as a standalone media player. A quick glimpse of the roadmap. Like some of you might already be aware of, we already support HDR formats. Sorry. We have plans to enhance the checklist for the HDR. Moreover, lot of AI and ML checks will be part of our roadmap. We have a focus on the enterprise support as well, and this will include, case features like auto scaling of the verification manager, and we will improvise our cloud support. We will continue to add more and more languages under the audio language identifications. Various new formats will be added to Baton, like AVS Plus, FFV1, DNG, and others. And the same set of audio video codecs will be added to the Baton media player as well. So these are the few highlights of the roadmap items that we have in our product. If you guys would need a detailed, demo of the roadmap or the new features, we can have a one-to-one sessions with you guys. Please feel free to reach us for that. With that, I have completed my Baton suite. Now we will go to the Baton LipSync product. Dipanshu, over to you.
Sure. So everyone, I think in the Baton part, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them through the Q&A section. Because next we are moving now to the new offering, which is the LipSync. So we'll keep a note of the questions that we will be getting in the webinar, and we will be answering them. So next I'll take you through the LipSync presentation, then we'll move to the UI quickly. As I mentioned in the beginning, that LipSync has been designed to identify errors where there are video and audio out of sync errors. So, because these eventually result in a bad viewing experience. And as you can see on the screen, there can be various reasons due to which such type of errors are introduced in the content. It could be due to transcoding, which is a major contributor to these type of errors, processing of audio videos separately, then some editing can result in these errors, and then frame synchronization. So basically you have an active speaker, so the video is going on at a particular rate, but the audio will be either leading or lagging the video. So this, as of now, is being majorly done in a manual fashion in the industry, but we have tried to automate this complete identification process using our solution. Now moving on. Yeah, so these are some of the capabilities of the LipSync solution. First, as I mentioned, that it's completely artificial intelligence and machine learning based algorithm that has been developed by Intera itself. So these are our own engines that are running behind the scenes. And it's non-reference based. So what I mean is you don't have to submit any original content to act as a reference so that we can identify the LipSync errors. It needs no fingerprinting or watermarking to check the audio video sync. It does that purely on machine learning basis. It's language independent, since we are, as we will focus on in the coming slides and the demo, that we are basically detecting the lip movement. So, and then matching it with the audio, so it's language independent. The audio video sync errors can be identified for any language. It's not the case that we can do it for one language and not for the other. And there are APIs available, so it can integrate seamlessly in the existing workflow that you might have in your organizations, but can also be used as a standalone application. And scalability will be very much possible. So we have designed the solution keeping in mind the scalability and the high availability requirements. And as I mentioned, so it's built on Intera's proprietary algorithms. So this is a very brief overview of how the process works. So it's a three-step process, as you can see. First, we will identify an active speaker and detect the lips of the active speaker in the video using the engines that we have built. Then we will extract the speech from the audio. These two things, the lip detection and the speech extracted, will be passed as inputs to the lip sync detection model for processing and detection of the errors. So as you can see, first is face detection, then face tracking, then lip detection from the video. And once the lips are identified, we will detect the lip activity so that we know that the person on screen is actually talking with the help of the lip movement. Then we'll extract the speech from the audio. We'll match both the lip activity and the extracted speech to find out whether a lip sync error exists in the submitted content or not. Then you have reports, basically web-based PDF reports as an output from the lip sync solution. This also makes use of Baton Media Player for a visual review of the errors. So going to the next slide. So these are some of the screenshots from the web interface. So as you can see that, and we'll see in the demo also that it's quite intuitive and easy to use interface, which allows you to configure and start detecting the errors in the content. Yeah, so moving on. So this is how a typical report in the Baton Media Player will look like. So once the content has been screened by the solution, so as you can see, it will be kind of a split view where the original video panel is on the left-hand side where the out-of-sync video will be played. Then the adjusted video where the lead or lag has been adjusted, it will be shown on the right-hand side. So you can see both the original video as well as the adjusted video. There is a thumbnail panel which you can see at bottom left. Error panel, all the error positions will be marked just like you have in Baton Media Player for the other audio video quality errors. Then at the bottom, you can see the timeline view. Basically, it depicts different things, whether a speaker is available or not. And if the speaker is available, whether the audio is leading or lagging the video. These are identified by different colors. And then you also have the media timeline, which is the timeline of the content which is being played. So we'll see the live demo also how this looks in the product UI, but this is how the report in the Baton Media Player will look like. And these are some of the additional features of LipSync. So since we have built our own engines using machine learning approach, the results are quite accurate from what we are seeing in our labs, plus some of the customers which have started using the solution already. It supports multiple formats, seamless integration. As I already mentioned, there are APIs available, so it can work in conjunction with Baton, with other solutions in the workflow, but also as a standalone tool. Performance. So right now, the tools that we have benchmarked it with, it's the best in the industry, I can say, in terms of the performance numbers. As far as the deployment is concerned, it's available on Linux platform and can be deployed either as an on-premise installation or in the cloud instances. A rich interface for debugging, as we just saw that it's a web-based intuitive UI plus a Baton Media Player provides that extra intuitive and feature-rich interface for us to debug and review the whole content. And at the bottom, you see scope. So some of these things are in our roadmap. For example, right now it works for non-animated file-based content. And obviously, so a clear speech at various points in the audio is important. So because that's how we can identify an active speaker on screen and then check for the audio video sync errors. And right now, as I said, so some of the things are in the roadmap. So we are supporting file-based content as of now, not live streaming. But we will be coming up with a pretty aggressive roadmap also for LipSync, so that most of these things which are not covered right now can be accommodated. I think now we can move to the product demo, Manish.
Yeah, thanks, Dipanshu, for covering it up. Okay, so this is the user interface of LipSync. It too has a web-based UI similar to Beta, and let's go to the landing page. So this is the task page. Again, here you have name of all the files that have been processed and the status. And the status says there are some failures. Stream is not in sync. To have a look at the report, let's click here on the file name itself. And here is the report. First, here we have the summary tab. It gives us a task ID, the scheduling time, the status finished, progress 100%, total time span for the process, and for how much percentage of the file audio shift was present. Let's go to the details tab, and over here we have the exact error details. We have the thumbnail, the start time code like 15-second 14th frame, and this is the end time. Total audio shift existed for 10 frame and it was lagging. So basically the audio was lagging over here. So just to clarify, by audio lagging we mean the video comes first and the audio was late. And second error, again the same details for start time code, end time code, and the audio shift in this case is the audio lead. So basically the audio came earlier and the video action happened later. Also you see on the top there is a timeline. We use different color codes. In orange we show the audio lag, and in blue we show the audio leading. As Dipanshu said, we can export this report in PDF, JSON, and also open this in Baton Media Player. Let me open one. So the Baton Media Player, the interface you are already familiar with, that we saw in the Baton demo. We have errors on the left side. We have a thumbnail panel here. We have the audio shift timeline over here. Again, here we have the speaker availability. The blue region over here, it shows on a timeline where the speaker was available. We have a button over here to select the video player panel. Options here are to view the original video with the in sync or the out of sync audio, or just play the audio with adjusted video, or you can play both side by side. Let's click on one of the error and see how it plays.
Today I'm joined by Penny Westlake, Director for Europe and Interior Assistant. Penny, welcome back to Ivan TV. Thanks very much. Can you start by telling us a quick bit about it?
So I'll take a pause. So over here, if you see, while playing this portion on the left side, this is my original video. And sorry, and here the audio shift exists for 10 frames. Wherever in the right portion, we are playing this video with the audio adjusted. And this is in sync. To try an error or do some experimentation, we have given an option to adjust the audio by taking an input from the user. So you can give your own user inputs over here. Like I want to play this video, maybe 10 frames adjusted or 5 frame adjusted. You can also select a lead and lag for your use case. So maybe I'll play this portion with audio adjusted by 5 frames, and this is lead. So this can also be done to do a try and error. Now, once you have found like what all the exact adjustments that you need in your file, you can share those inputs to your editors. They can edit those sequence of audio video back on their timelines in their NLE and fix the video. And again, that video can be sent here for the detection of the lip sync. So this is how we are trying to solve an industry problem for the lip sync. Just for your update, for now, we are considering only lip movements for such detections, but it's already in our roadmap to include other events as well, like, you know, a door is closing or a gun is being shot. So based on such events also, we are planning to sync your audio and video. So with this, you know, I cover the scope of lip sync. Next, we can discuss Baton's caption. Over to you, Poncho.
Sure. Thanks, Manish. So now we will cover the second offering in the AI/ML suite of Intera, that is Baton's Captions. So as we know that captions are the text version of speech or other sounds that are displayed on the screen in videos. And they have several advantages. First one is improving accessibility, that, you know, people with different abilities or who are hard of hearing, who can't really comprehend the audio, they can understand the content with the help of the captions or subtitles that are being presented on the screen. And due to the same reason, some of the countries, and in fact, most of the countries, have them as regulatory compliances, that the content which is being aired or which is being published on, let's say, OTT apps, they need to have proper caption support. It resolves audio issues. For example, somewhere in the content, if the audio is not up to the mark, so the captions can help you understand what exactly is going on. And then it enables companies to go global. For example, if a content has been, let's say, originally produced in the Korean language, but you want to have a global audience, so the captions will enable you to do so. And at the bottom, you can see a typical process which is followed in the captions workflow. First is a generation of transcripts. Then we do the captioning and time coding, basically generating the caption segments along with the appropriate time codes. Then we check these captions for the quality, and then we can do the correction and final review, whether everything is working right or not. Now, the process that I explained, it can have several disadvantages if it is done in a manual fashion. It brings us to the need for automation in captions. Now, this process can be associated with high cost because of so many processes involved and so many let's say if you have a lot of languages to deal with, so it becomes a costly affair, and it's also tedious. For example, you have hours and hours of content and you have different versions of it. So maintaining the quality in all those versions, it can be a tedious task. Then turnaround time. Now you always don't have the luxury of time. For example, content gets delivered to you and you have to make it ready to put it on air. Sometimes you don't have a long time window to do all this. So having a solution which can do the captioning in an automated fashion can help you save a lot of time. Then the next point is languages, as I mentioned. Such an elaborate process, let's say if you're handling 5-6 different languages, it becomes very difficult. And you will always not have resources or people in the company who will know all the 5-6 languages. So there is a possibility that there might be an error in the whole process, because the proficiency level of people in different languages can be different. So if you have an automated solution, so you know that it will do it in the correct way, even if you give the solution 70 or 80 languages to work with. And it helps you with regulatory compliance, as we mentioned in the beginning, that it's most of the countries have it as a mandatory requirement. Now, next we look at what is the scope of our Baton Captions solution. So as I mentioned several times, it's based on a machine learning based approach to create, QC, and correct captions in the workflow. So for the purpose of this presentation, and as of now, the generation of transcripts is in the roadmap, but the process from the second step onwards, that is, if you have transcripts already available, then the generation of captions, the QC of captions, and the correction of these captions and reviewing it, this is already supported in our solution, which we are going to show you just now in a couple of minutes. And again, I would like to mention that for the review part, we are making use of Baton Media Player here also, because it provides such a rich user interface that again, the visual review becomes very easy with the help of Baton Media Player. So some of the technology highlights for Baton Captions, again, this is Linux based and available both as on-premise and cloud-based solution. Here also you get a complete API support, so you can integrate it with other solutions in your workflow. It can be used standalone and also with Baton. All the popular supports that you will find in the industry that you must be working with, SCC, SRT, TTML-based format, these are already supported in Baton Captions. Next point, rich player for review. This I've already covered, that Baton Media Player will be facilitating this part, so that, because just getting a report, the analysis is not that intuitive, but if you have it in the form of a visual representation, it becomes that much easier. High availability option is available, and the language support. So currently, since we have just started with the solution, the first language we have implemented is English, but definitely more languages are in the roadmap. I think most probably by the Q3 of this year, we'll have support for at least 80 languages, including Korean. So let's say in a time frame of 2 to 3 months, we should be starting to add more languages, and by Q3, end of Q3, we will have a complete language pack ready in the solution. And lastly, this is a sample use model of the caption solution. So as I mentioned, that right now, generation of transcript is in the roadmap. So we can assume that, let's say, transcript is being provided as an input to the solution along with the content. First module which comes into the picture is the caption generation module. which will take the transcript and the content and will give you the caption segments along with the time codes as an output. These can then be provided as an input to the Captions QC module to check uh, for various quality issues. So we'll cover in the next slide that what are the checks that we are doing related to captions. You will get a QC report from here, which you can then review in Baton Media Player. Also that as per the system, let's say at a particular time code, this is the error. Let's say the caption is not complete or there is a caption shift or drift. So you can visually see it in Baton Media Player and then if needed, send it to the captions correction module for final correction. And then you can get the corrected caption files in SRT or SCC formats from the system itself. Next, we will have a look at the checks. So we have segregated the checks in language dependent and language independent checks. But these will all be covered once we have all the languages available. So for the language dependent checks, we have caption shift, drift, accuracy, and completeness. So shift is, let's say, if there is a certain time difference between your audio and when the captions appear on the screen. Let's say a dialogue is spoken, but the caption is appearing either 1 second before or 1 second after the dialogue. That's an example of caption shift. Caption drift is when this time gap between the audio and caption keeps on increasing. So this is an example of when the caption is drifting away. Then accuracy is in terms of let's say whatever is being spoken is not exactly what the captions depict. So those are the accuracy related checks that we are doing. Completeness is when, let's say, a dialogue is there, but the caption associated with it is not there or is partially there. Some of the words or the complete dialogue is missing. So that's a completeness example. Out of these four, we are correcting caption shift and drift already as of now. Then at the bottom, you can see some language independent checks. Different the service providers, OTT service providers have different guidelines. For example, the reading speed, that how fast the captions should be appearing, or let's say in 1 minute or 15 seconds, what is the number of correct characters or what is the number of words that should be displayed on screen so that a normal average viewer can actually read them. Then you can have average reading speed for the whole content duration. Character count is the number of characters being displayed at one single point in time. Number of rows, let's say usually it's 2 rows when the content is moving, and you can see 2 rows of captions usually, because more than that, it becomes a little clutter. Then the display duration of the caption, that once caption appears on screen, for how many seconds it should be there before it moves to the next dialogue. So these are some of the checks that we are covering. I think now we can move to the product UI. So Munish can take us through it. And just to mention, as you can see in the last slide, that we are much faster than real time. In fact, the revised numbers are that we can do the QC of captions in 8 to 9 times faster than real time.
Okay, thanks, Dipanshu. Yeah, so here is the user interface of Baton Captions. This is exactly similar to what we have seen in our LipSync product. So we have the file name, a scheme where you define what all you want to check or correct in the file. Type of scheme, whether you are just doing the QC of the captions or doing only the correction or a mix of both. And the status. Let's click here on the file name and open its detailed report. So under summary view, again, we have the task related information, the file paths, the starting time, the subtitles, whether those were a sidecar or not. And here under the section summaries, we can see a overall summary. So for example, for the accuracy check, there are some problems. The captions were inaccurate for a total duration of 12 seconds and 52 frames. Sorry, 12 seconds and 52 seconds. Then the average reading speed, there were no problems. This check passed. Caption drift, no, there were no problems with that. There were some caption shift, and again there are the details. The total character count, it is also not as per the specified restrictions in the scheme. And also the completeness, display duration, the reading speed, these are also not correct as per the specified range. The row count, that is good so far. So this is the summary. Now let's go to the errors portion and see the details. Here we have the abbreviations for accuracy, A for accuracy, as for any shift related errors. Then or the character counts are designated with this symbol, and C is for the completeness. Against each of these line items, you have the duration for which this error has occurred or it persists, then the start time code and the end time code. Next is the utterance view, where you have all the utterance of your captions from your caption files, and a status which tells you whether it has been processed with errors or processed with no error. And the error detected column over here, it shows you what errors were there. Again, you have the start time code and end time code over here. So this is the detailed HTML view or the report of your error. Like the Poncho said, we can also open this in the Baton Media Player for doing a detailed review of the report. So let me open it. So this is the media player. Let me open the subtitle viewer window as well over here. So interface you are already familiar with. We have all the errors on the left panel, video in the center. And for the caption specific, I have enabled the caption viewer here. By clicking on any of the error, it will jump onto the errorless portion and play that sequence. So let me play one accuracy error.
We have to follow our passion.
So when we played this error, we can see the highlighted in the subtitle viewer. Why can't you just go away, far away and join some band? So this is a wrong caption compared to the actual audio. In audio, he says, why don't you just go far away? And you tell me like you are getting freaking with my robotic hand. So there is a mismatch in the spoken audio and the subtitles which are present. If we see in the subtitle window, here we can do, we can take some actions as well. We can take some actions as well, whether we want to allow this or you can keep this as is. Also, if you see anything else in here on the plus button, so add subtitle utterance, and this will be reflected back in your report, and that can be further, when you placed over there. So this is how sorry, this is how this Baton Media Player helps you to review your caption report and also allows you to, input your manual inputs in your caption file. And then, like we said, you can generate a SRT or SEC subtitles that can be used for your workflows. So with this, we cover the scope of our Caption product. So over to you, Dipanshu.
Yeah, so I think we have finished the product demonstration for Captions also. So in case there are any, in case there are any questions, you can post them right now, or you can write to us directly or through Jin. So we can always respond to your queries via email or via Jin. So I think we can wait for just 1 minute. In case you want to ask any questions right now, you can write them in the Q&A section. Yeah, I think some of the questions like licensing and pricing, we can possibly take on a one-on-one basis, but Baton you are already aware with, but Captions and LipSync will be again licensed based on the number of cores. So we are calling them nodes in this case. For example, 4 CPU cores can make one node, and pricing will be as per them. And regarding the POC, so you can already have LipSync as well as Captions for POC. So they are very much available now for demos as well as for POCs in your environment. Yeah, so I guess then we can probably wrap it up. So you can send in your questions, as I said, over email or through Jim. But just as a closing remark, so as I mentioned, so all of these solutions will be available on cloud. Plus, we have 2 webinars remaining. So the second one in this series will be for Orion suite that will cover our real-time monitoring solutions, Orion for transport streams and Orion OTT for your OTT streams, along with the Orion Central Manager. And the last one will be for Vino, which is for automatic content classification. So we have 2 webinars remaining, and hopefully you find some good insights, and I hope you got good insights from this particular session. So with that, I think we can close the session. Thanks a lot for your time for attending the whole webinar for Baton Suite. Really sorry for the initial glitch, which I think lasted for a couple of minutes, but hope to see you in the coming 2 webinars also. Well, thank you and bye, and please stay safe as the times are really challenging these days. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Manish, I think there is one question to receive the Korean version. So yes, we'll make sure that the Korean version of the presentation reaches you. So you will definitely receive it from Jin, the Korean version of the material.